Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be working on my quilt today, but let me show you what I've done so far. So this is what I have done so far. Actually, to make any little drawings on what I was going to do or try something out, I used the Crayola washable markers because they wash right out in the wash, and I will wash this when I'm finished. It has been pre-washed, so it's not going to shrink. But this is what I've done so far. And on the very top and bottom row, I'm going to have bow ties on the corners and then just whatever in between colors. And then I'm going to put another color block all the way around it, and then I'll add my bind finish. This is the back of it. This is what I've done so far. So I hope you join me because I'm going to be working on different things on this quilt. And I'm using the quilt as you go method, and I watched several videos they were all really good videos, and everyone does it a little bit different, but I just basically did each block, and then when I finished that block, which it had the top, the batting, and then the backing on it, then I did my sewing machine, whatever pattern I was going to do in the middle of that. And then I sewed the next block to it. Let me show you. Then I sewed the next block to it. And then I did the strip in between. And then I just continued on till I got a row. And then I did my next row. So when I got to my second row and I did the same thing, I just went on and on. Now what I'm doing is I'm adding the sashing in between, and I'm using green on all of it. And so I will show you as I work on this, and you can watch as I hopefully progress and it gets a little bit better. So this is the, I'm going to be making an adjustment on this. Actually, it's a correction. When I laid this out, I found out that I had a couple of these blocks were out of sequence in my diagonal, and I want everything to match up. But I do need to insert this one, and I'm going to let you watch and see how I do it. Now, I'm using this machine, which is one of my favorites. I've got all the Singer Quantum line series, the older ones, because they're amazing machines. They really sew beautifully. They're heavy duty. They do really good quilting work, and I'll probably end up doing a video about this one later. But if you'll follow along, you can see how I insert this block to correct this diagonal line that's on my quilt. The first thing I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier is I'm going to roll up this one side. Now, I fixed it. That is my diagonal that I needed to correct. I don't know if you can see, but here's one here, and there's one down here. I wanted to show you, this is the way that I've been making my sashing. I just pull it through, and as I pull it through, I iron it. I wanted to show you what I do and I'm filling a bobbin. I try to keep at least a couple of them. So I've used 5 so far on this quilt, but I put my spare bobbin here so I don't have to unthread and bobbin thread to refill the spool that I'm using. So I keep it attached and still thread it to the needle, and then I use a second spool to wind the bobbin. And these are all the original parts that came with this machine, and I've got another whole bag of bobbins that go with all my Singer quantums, but I try to keep them filled. So I've already gone through, they're not even in here, 1, 2, 3 here, 4, and then I've got this one that I just filled. So that's 5 so far that I've gone through because they were all filled. So I've got my bias all ready, and I'm going to start sewing that on. So I went in and finished my quilt. I wanted you all to see what the finished product was. So this is the front of it. I added the 2 white rows, and then it's got a very thin bias binding that I made in green all the way around the edge. And let me show you this is the underside of it. Underside looks, and this is just shadow, but I think because there's yellow tones in the fabric, I don't know, or because of that yellow right there, but this is all brand new, so this is like bright white. This was definitely a good practical challenge for me, this quilt, because I used bow ties, the blocks, and then some were out of sequins, and I went back and altered my quilt to correct it. And then I had actually, on the other side of the white, on both sides, I had actually added a wider band, a strip. But when I did that, I did not like the way it turned out. So I actually took it off and decided to just go with the thin green bias all the way around. And so in the end, I'm happy with it. I feel like each time I make a quilt, because I'm learning by watching videos from people who do things different ways, and I do like to try other people's methods and see, because there might be a way that I try that might work out better for me than what I'm actually doing. But I am learning a lot. Like this quilt as you go method really was much easier for me to grasp. This was the first pattern that I went on using the bow tie, and I'm thinking about getting that quilt block a month. I've got 2 really large quilting books, some that have the really old patterns and some new, and I may try that. But either way, I'm happy that I got to share this with you, and I hope that, like I did, maybe some of you can take something away with you, something that you've learned, and this was actually helpful for you. So thanks again for watching my channel, Inspired by Faith Sewing, and take a look at some of my other videos, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.